When our family decides to do something, we jump in with both feet. And that's kind of been true our whole lives, from the fact that my wife and I got married just a few months after dating, and that was 26 years ago, to having our first child within the first year of our marriage, to buying houses, buying cars, buying property, whatever it is that we do, when we decide we want to do it, we do it quickly. Deciding to build a house has been no different. When my daughter and her husband said they would like to live on the farm, and we talked about the option of us building and then buying our old house, well, within a month, we were breaking ground. So we have jumped into this quickly and with both feet, but it's kind of been a dream of mine all along, so it didn't take a whole lot of convincing to get me to do this. And here we are. I'm trying my best to hurry up and get this thing under roof so that the rain doesn't damage our flooring and everything else. And that's the point we are at, is putting rafters on the house. And this summer has been one for the books because it rains like every day. That means that we're getting a lot of weather and we're trying to work around it. But I have to say, the fact that it's a little bit cloudy today, I'm not upset about it because it's at least a whole lot cooler that way. So I'm getting to work on these rafters, and this is probably going to be a week-long video, although I'll probably condense it down to a little bit shorter than that. I'm going to share my progress with you throughout this week, and we'll probably get done, 5 or 6 rafters an evening. Hopefully by Saturday, we can have most of them up so that we're ready to start putting decking on. That's my goal. But I can tell you, this whole part of the process of doing the rafters has been more difficult and taken longer than I expected. And that's mainly because of the heat. I just cannot handle working out in that sun for long hours. So I come up and I work a few hours at a time and I do what I could do. And that's making it take longer than I wanted. What was it I said at the start of this video? We can't keep it from raining. Here it comes again. I'm against hanging rafters in the rain, but I'm for love. I'm all for happiness. And I ain't that against hanging rafters in the rain, as long as I don't get struck by lightning. This feels pretty good. It's about the most comfortable I've been while I've been out here working, I can tell you that much. So I hopped into side-by-side to take just a quick little break here. I'll give it a few minutes to pass. Kind of needed to take a little break after climbing up and down anyway. But if it don't quit here pretty soon, I'm just going to get out in the rain and work in it, because it's still more pleasant than working out in that beating sun with it 95 degrees. Seems like it might be getting heavier. All right, well, I got the rafters that I had over there on the tractor forks all cut and put up, and it looks pretty cool to see them all up. And it also looks cool to see the plan coming together, and I know this is how it's supposed to work, but spacing out all of the studs 16 inches on center, and on the floor joist 16 inches on center, and the load starts at the top with the rafter and it's right on top of the stud going straight down, and so everything is coming together like it's supposed to, and I can spot check myself and know that things are on the right track. Our pattern is working good for the rafters to where when I put one up, nail it to the wall, I can come down here, line up the wall with the edge, back edge of the rafter, and then sight down the wall, and I can see that everything's running good and level and true. It's all exciting. We have it tied together and things are coming together and it all looks the way it's supposed to look. That shouldn't be news to anybody, but I've never built a house before, so I always have my little doubts in my mind. Now, I'm definitely no perfect builder, as I've told you before. You know, I've still got a few spots that I've got to clean up where I shot nails out the corners and did some ugly stuff because I'm not an experienced framer. We'll get them cleaned up. We'll put new nails in where they need to be and get all that lined up. Yeah, so tonight everybody else is gone and the weather's halfway decent. It's getting warm now that the rain quit and the sun came back out, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting rafters for tomorrow night. If I can get 5 or 6 rafters cut, tomorrow night's gonna be a short night because we got a birthday party to go to. So if I can get 5 or 6 cut tonight, then I can probably get them put up tomorrow night before I have to leave, which will keep me on track, because what I intend to do is get far enough during this week that on Saturday, I can finish the rafters, they'll all be done, and I'll be ready to start putting decking on. I have been letting everything else go and spending every spare minute on the house because I want to get it decked and get some roofing paper or something on it to keep the rain off of my Advantech, because we are about 3 weeks in now that it's been getting rained on, and I do not want to go past about 6 weeks. You know, if you leave the right gaps in them and everything, then it holds up pretty good to that. But so far so good. The floor's staying good and level and true, and you know, when it rains and I sweep water, it doesn't go, you know, rolling back to one spot or another. It's all pretty level. So I cut out my doorways tonight so I could sweep the water off of it and not leave it standing on there overnight. It bothers me having untreated wood out in the weather, and as quickly as I can get it done and covered up, that's what I want to do. So that's what I'm after. I'm gonna get back over here and get to cutting out off of my pattern. Woo! Guys, well, today the sun's out, but the good news is I'm getting better at this because I hung the 10 rafters that I got cut last night in just over an hour. So I've gotten a lot quicker, which is nice. That being said, I already mentioned, got a birthday party to go to this evening. I have maybe another hour I could work, but I'll just be honest with you. That took a lot out of me, and I'd have to uncover all the joists and get all the tools set up, and by the time I do that, I'm only going to get, you know, half hour worth of work or so before I have to pack it all back up, put it all away, and I just don't want to. So I'm gonna call it a night. I'm on track, I think, to be able to get these rafters done by this weekend like I planned. Stick with me and let's see if I make it. Y'all to take a good look at that, because that is most definitely not a board that I can use. Look at that. And here's the frustrating thing about this is I bought exactly how many I needed. They're 20 footers, so you can't buy them at Lowe's or Home Depot, and the place I bought this from is over an hour away, so to take it back and get a replacement or whatever, it's going to be a hassle. I wanted to get this done this weekend. I know they can't be perfect, but you know, you pay for stamped graded lumber, and yeah, oh well. I mean, most of it's been pretty good, but that's pretty bad. All right, 10 more rafters cut. Time to go get cleaned up for church. We'll get those hung tomorrow. Getting there, getting there. Ah, feels good. Well, it feels hot. So guys, when you just get afternoons after work to work on building a house and it rains every day and you don't want to ruin the untreated wood that's out here waiting on you to get a roof over it, well, you work in the rain. I'm probably gonna take some heat if you watch the time lapse very closely, because it got a little rowdy a few times and a smart man would have hung it up and went in. My dad used to say things like, you don't have sense enough to get in out of the rain, and he was right. But I'll just be honest, as difficult as it is to work in that heat, I thought, man, this is comfortable. I am just gonna get done what I can get done. So, y'all can yell at me, but it is what it is. I got 18 rafters put up tonight. I have 2 left. Or 16, or I don't know, I lost count. But anyway, everything that I have left to cut and hang, I got done. I have to buy one more 20 footer to replace that one that had the bad spot in it. And I've got my pattern sitting over there, so when I use my pattern, mark the last one, cut it out, those 2 go up, and we've got this. And it's Thursday afternoon. And I was planning on finishing this on Saturday, which means, man, I might get to go fishing Saturday. I don't know. We'll still work on the house, I'm sure, but this does take some of the heat off. Now, I have several things left to do before I can get a roof on this. For starters, I've got to notch my end rafter here for whatever you call the things that you attach a fly rafter to, so that I have my overhang. So I will be doing that. I'll notch those out for a 2x4 to stick over the edge and then put me a brace in underneath it, and that way I'll have my overhang on the sides. And I'm going to go ahead and cut, I don't know what you call the little plates that fill the hole up there. Some people call them like freeze plugs, or I don't know. But anyway, I got to cut all those blocks and put in there. That's going to take some time. But I have an exciting new tool coming that I hope to show in this video, because I'm going to need it to put these last ones on. I actually ran out of fuel for my pass load nailer, and it's getting retired because it's just wore out and it's too hard to use anymore. It misfires and lots of problems, and I'm done with it. So I have upgraded, and to get these up here and get them attached so that I could keep working, I put one screw in each one to hold them in place until I get my nail gun. So hopefully that arrives tomorrow. It said it would. We'll see. All right, see you then. Well, all right, it's Friday afternoon, and I have the last rafter that I need to get cut and hung, and I'm excited about it. But man, I gotta share with you. So I was pointing out that I had one damaged 2x10 by 20 that I bought from Graham Lumber when I placed my order for all of this. And you know, that's just kind of part of it. When you don't get to pick all of your own lumber, you have it delivered, they're an hour away. It's too far to drive to go deal with that in person and change it out or do anything like that. But I paid $17.99 a piece for those 20-foot 2x10s. Now, to be fair, the prices have gone up a little bit since I bought them, and they are selling them today for $20.99. Now, I'm all about supporting small businesses and local businesses, so I went to the local lumber yard that's a family-owned store here closest to the house to get a 20-foot 2x10, and it was $41.99, more than twice as much. And I want you to look at the board that they gave me. Now, how long has this been sitting out in the weather? And I paid $41.99 for it. I had to have one, and so it is what it is, and I'm not even going to mention them by name because I'm not trying to trash anybody. There's a balance there. You know, mom and pop shops, I want to support them and keep them in business, but I don't know. There's just, there are a lot of things about this that are frustrating to me. Now, we get people that come into our coffee shop and they complain about the prices. It is what it is. We're not setting our prices to get rich. We're setting our prices so that we can stay in business. That may be what they're doing, and so that's what it takes to compete with Lowe's and Home Depot and all of those. I don't know. Something doesn't seem quite right to me about that. Oh well, I got what I needed, and we go on with our lives. I'm gonna crown this board, mark it out, get it cut, and get it put up. Well, I guess I can look on the bright side. That old weathered 2x10 is really lightweight. We made it. All right, that's the last one. I am happy to have the last one up. I am unhappy with the quality of the last rafter that I had to use because it was pretty pathetic. But when it's all said and done, nobody will ever know the difference. It'll work out just fine. Everything lined up great. I am really happy with how my pattern worked. And these cuts, I may have to stretch a string and check and see if there's any that are off, but honestly, just sighting down it looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm also happy with, you know, I've been checking the walls periodically and making sure my braces held the walls good and level and straight. I'll kind of get you here where you can sight down my rafter tails. And now, mind you, sometimes these cameras kind of distort things a little bit, so I don't know how it's going to pick up. But as I sight down this, it's pretty straight. I might be able to spot one or two that are a little bit in or out. I might have to shim or do something with the fascia board to get it perfect, but either that or I cut a little bit off of each tail down through there to get them right, like I did on the equipment shed. Everything looks good. Everything looks plumb. This is a big step. This is a big relief to have this done and be able to see that it's all going to come together at a level that I am pleased with. So next up, we've got a lot of little things to do. Like I got rafter ties, you know, hurricane straps or whatever you want to call them, to put on every one of these. And of course, got the special nails and all that. I'm going to put the blocking in between all of these, you know, so that they don't fall over. And yeah, lots of little things, plus my fly rafters, my overhang on the outside. We go out the window here, you see, I don't have any overhang yet. So I have to build that. I don't know if I'm gonna build ladder boxes, or I think what I'm gonna do is notch the last rafter, lay down a 2x4, nail it over to the second rafter, and then that will, I don't remember what you call that, but that will give me a strong support to tie to hang fascia off of to create that overhang. Probably will work on those things tomorrow. What I've decided to do, since I got these up, and it's still early in the afternoon, even though it's pretty dark and a little bit rainy. Caden's been begging me to fish all week, and I just have to do it. I mean, you know, I always hate to go fishing, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So if you're interested in that, check out Peak Outdoors. And until next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation, because it's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.